Having a mentor is very important in this kind of space, but during that time, it's really hard to pinpoint who are the KOLs, who are telling the truth. How much more data or congestion of this network is going to experience if 10%, 20% of the total global population adopts the technology. All of us founders decided to lock up all our tokens for a certain period of time because we believe in our project. We believe on what we're doing. Web3 is all about community. We need to collaborate, not to compete. We need to unify, have a vision and a mission wherein we work together as Filipinos.
Hey everybody, this is Yannick Collins and thanks for tuning in to Oz Living, where we feature serial entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and prominent figures in the blockchain space. And with me today is Felix Asuncion. He's the co-founder at Viridian Technologies and Chief Revenue Officer at Tetrix Network. And Felix and I have just came from the serial entrepreneur meetup wherein we get to meet several other entrepreneurs, founders, and innovators in a space, which was so refreshing to see. And I think that Tetrix Network is one of the projects that stood out for me the most, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear all about it. So Felix, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you and us having this conversation because this is what we need to send out the message to everyone who's going to watch this interview.
I know, and you're doing so many wonderful things, but can we start with your background, your origin story? So how did you first get into crypto as a Filipino? Yeah.
Well, during that time when I was starting in cryptocurrency, my ideology of crypto is as an investment. But then again, as an investment, there was a lot of offerings during that time. In 2017, I encountered a crypto wherein that's my first exposure. And I actually got scammed because the company just went out. So their term now is rug pull. But during that time, it is...
What did you call it before?
Scam.
It's just scam.
It's just scam. Of course, just like in a relationship, that's your first breakup, right?
Yeah.
I was really devastated because I also even invited some of my family, friends to invest on this type of project. And during that time, I told myself, next time I'm gonna get exposed on this type of industry, I'll make sure I'm gonna do a due diligence. I'm gonna make sure that I know the founders, what they do, what's their use case, and what will be their roadmap. And moving forward, during that time, I was actually learning how to trade as well. So when I got exposed into investment, I also learned how to trade. So that was 2017, 2018.
Okay. Did you have any mentors when you got into this space? Or did you do everything by yourself? Like you did all your research? What was your method in learning the whole industry?
Having a mentor is very important in this kind of space. But during that time, it's really hard to pinpoint who are the KOLs, who are the people who's telling the truth, who are those people who are have the integrity and credibility on whatever coin they're promoting. And of course, we all know that Bitcoin is, we don't even know who's the creator or developer of this coin or the technology, as they mentioned. But as I grow up, as I listen to different people as well, my mentor is YouTube, because that's the information that you're gonna get, right? And then of course I do have some communities, people I trust with, but it's just lately that I got to know more about these people, because these KOLs just got the credibility because of sharing the information they know about these specific coins. So yeah, mentor is very important to this industry, because if you don't have one, you might fear on missing out, or you just go somewhere else. Yes.
Now, let's dive right in. Can you give us the 30,000 overview flip of what Tetrix is all about?
All right. So Tetrix, before I share about Tetrix, I want you to understand why it is named Tetrix.
Yes. Is it because of the game?
Because of this classic game.
I love Tetris.
Yeah.
I grew up playing it.
Yeah, me too. So if you're going to look at that game, there's a certain level, and each level you have to surpass, right?
Yeah.
And each brick represents different colors, shapes, different sizes as well, that co-represent us. So Tetrix aims to bridge the gap among users, blockchains, and even enterprises who want to go to the blockchain space. So when we say to bridge the gap, there are two words that comes and pops on mind, which is interconnection and interoperability.
Yeah.
So we built Tetrix. Since I mentioned game, I met my co-founder while playing games during the pandemic.
So the idea was born out of like playing Tetris, and then like suddenly the light switch off, and oh my God, this is what we should do.
Actually, a different game. It's a role-playing game. It's MMORPG game. Yeah, like the Ragnarok, the classic games as well. But we decided to start a company that will bring not only Tetrix to the map, but also to the Philippines, because we are aiming to, create a company which is the other nations and other countries will recognize that Filipinos are also developers. They are also building something. They're not just consumers and users. So that was actually the fire when we were starting. And of course, blockchain during that time is a buzzword, and sometimes it's a daunting word with other people when they heard about crypto and blockchain. So that's actually our stepping stone for us to educate more people about this space. So during that time when we were conceptualizing the idea of Tetrix, so we focus on solving problems. So these problems that we have encountered bring Tetrix in where we are right now. So those three problems that we've identified, which is number one is trilemma. So when you say trilemma, is the scalability, it is the centralization and also the security part of each blockchain, right? And second, as I mentioned, is interoperability and the control. Projects that are bound in the layer 1 ecosystem limits their potential, right? And lastly, the adoption. So we've been doing these meetups, these events, because we want this adoption. We are bringing this mass uptake to people so that they understand what is the use case of blockchain. So we identify these problems, and that's where Tetrix is actually born, because we want to solve these three problems that I mentioned.
And Tetrix approaches layer 0 blockchain infrastructure, which is similar to Polkadot, building interoperability between blockchains. So could you differentiate what layer 1 and 2 and all that, just to educate our audience?
Okay. So of course we need to understand first what are layers, what that we're mentioning. So layer 1s are the Bitcoin, Ethereums, and layer 2s are the Cosmos, the Avalanche, or the other blockchain network there. And also, we identify this problem in terms of scalability. So, like for example, the congestion amount of data pouring into blockchain because of the transaction limits the potential of this blockchain. So, the layer 0 point of concept or proof of concept is like creating a modular chains that can help this layer transact, communicate with each other. It's like an analogy of, instead of going to EDSA, because that is very congested data and there's a lot of cars there, go to the Skyway. It's much the convenience, it's quicker, like the transaction is fast. So those are things that we've encountered and experienced. That's the reason why we would love to create this layer 0 concept. So we've heard that a lot of blockchain projects are, as you mentioned, Polkadot and Avalanche and Cosmos are doing as well, because they are seeing that there will be a mass adoption in the coming years, like 5 to 10 years from now. People will gonna appreciate the power of blockchain, the beauty of blockchain. And right now, just imagine we're at 3% of the total globe population adapting to this space. How much more data or congestion or problems of this network is going to experience if 10%, 20% of the total global population adopts the technology. So right now, we are working in a way that we're looking at on a 5 to 10 years ahead from now. Imagine Filipinos right now, we have more than 2 million users in terms of the Web3 wallets. And that composed of, the MetaMask and the other wallets out there. And how many people jump into the play-to-earn space? Maybe roughly 1 million Filipino, right? Or more, because we are in the top global list of play-to-earn countries in the whole Southeast Asia. So my point here is, when these things come, when adoption come to different industries, the congestion of data will be, overload. That's the reason why we're creating an infrastructure now. So imagine Makati during the time we're creating already a Skyway. Before Makati will, the area will be boom with different businesses. That's Tetrix is building currently. Yeah.
What are the kind of brands, products, and businesses that can be found in the network umbrella right now? And what are you currently looking into onboarding? Which companies are these?
Currently, we're working with different partners. These partners actually came from different diverse sets of industries, including esports, gaming, hospitals or healthcare systems, even an identity problem case solution that we do as well. We also have these educational platforms that we work with, because we truly believe that for us to bring the adaptation, we need education. And the more people we educate, the more people innovate in terms of their business, in terms of their daily practical use cases, right? The question will be, how blockchain will benefit from my daily living? How could I benefit from it? Not only the futures, but the use case, the benefit. So we're seeing different industries, even logistics, even pets actually are jumping into this ecosystem.
Yeah,
Because,
I did see PetMe on your website.
yes.
Just to make sense of all of this and just to put it on layman's term, so if I were to be, say, an e-commerce platform and I wanted to tokenize my business, then I go to you, then you get to develop the blockchain business model for me. Is that how it goes? How do I benefit from being under your network?
All right. So, of course, in any industry, they need developers, and of course, Tetrix is an integral part of the ecosystem, wherein we play an important role building use cases for different enterprises. Like, for example, if you mentioned a pet company, now this pet company would love to innovate their services in their customers and clients.
I want to move into your token, which is the TET token, if I'm not mistaken. What's the progress with that? Are you doing the ICO? And could you talk to me a little bit about tokenomics?
All right, so our token currently is we are on a private sale. We've launched it last May, and we are planning to do an initial coin offering this last quarter of 2022. And the tokenomics of this coin is actually quite interesting. Why? Because all of us founders decided to lock up all our tokens for a certain period of time, like a long-term plan, because we believe in our project. We believe on what we're doing. So we are not here to do an easy flip. We're here to make an impact. When I say make an impact, all of our early investors, all of our early believers understand what we are doing and what we are solving. And currently here in the Philippines and even in Southeast Asia, we are only the blockchain infrastructure who has the layer 0 proof of idea or concept that's already working and moving, work in progress. So the tokenomics as well, we just put a certain percentage wherein Tetrix is a people-centric company. When you say people-centric, we focus on the community. We focus on building with the community, helping them know and understand what we're building. And this is actually on our legacy part, because what we're building right now will be a game changer. I want to quote a KOL who's mentioned that the layer 0 idea or project will be the blockchain who will win in the future. Why? Because we believe that integration, interoperability, interconnection is the key for us to move where we want to go. And that's our vision, to bridge all of these blockchains together seamlessly, creating this skyway for them to connect and have at least the idea of interconnection, ease of use in terms of creating this WordPress-like development infrastructure. In addition to that, Tetrix is being registered in Dubai. So we plan to register it there.
Why in Dubai?
Dubai is the crypto hub of the world right now, where you have a blockchain and cryptocurrency company. Dubai is the place where, the regulation is friendly. At the same time, you can, propagate, or you can do an advocacy there wherein the government supports whatever you're building in the blockchain space. And Dubai is also, the haven for investments. So when we went there last May to attend the Future Innovation Summit, there's actually a ton of support from the government itself in terms of funding these startups, funding these tech companies who's building blockchain. So Dubai is the place to be for blockchain companies out there.
I love that you have a very strong Philippine DNA to your brand core. And speaking of Philippine DNA, you also named your crypto wallet as Pitaka, which for our non-Filipino audience right here, Pitaka is actually the Tagalog word of wallet.
Yes.
So I'm super curious. Tell us all about your Pitaka wallet.
So when Pitaka was born during during February of this year, we are actually talking about how can we bring more Filipinos to the space. So we realized that Pitaka or Web3 wallets is your passport to the space, right? So when we were conceptualizing it, our minds align in terms of naming it Pitaka because it's a Filipino word for the wallet. And we were surprised because there's a lot of things that we can offer to the people, including the crypto natives and the non-crypto natives. So the crypto natives will appreciate that because it aggregates all your NFTs, your staking or your DeFi, and also your tokens to all EVM-based blockchains. So currently right now, Pitaka supports more than 20,000 plus EVM-based blockchains wherein you can navigate through your web browser. But this coming fourth quarter this year, we're gonna launch our mobile version for Pitaka. So Pitaka is a wallet wherein you will feel that Web3 is in the top of your finger already because of its ease of use. Just imagine when you just downloaded it, just click get started, and then you can see your seed phrase. Of course, seed phrase is very important. You guys need to keep that in private. And then when you got it, just choose whatever blockchains you use, support, and then there you go. You have the access for all the tokens out there.
And you've got great competition out there. Yeah, just stating, the other non-custodial wallets such as Trezor, Exodus, MetaMask, and whatnot. Like, how do you compete with them? Why should people use Pitaka?
Of course, don't take our word for it, but I believe Pitaka will disrupt the next generation of wallets because it aggregates all the data, including the NFTs, the DeFi, and also the tokens that supports, all EVM-based blockchains out there. With our competitor, you need to set up RPCs per token, which takes time. But in Pitaka, you just need to click whichever blockchain you want to use. And there, you're gonna see and feel the ease of use, the friendliness of Pitaka. And of course, let's support Filipino products. As I mentioned, let's support local, let's support these developers, not only Pitaka, but also other native projects that are on the stage of, building their product, building their company, their founders I just would like to address this misnomer that we Filipinos are developers. We are not just users. We're not just consumers. We've seen the height of Axie Infinity. We saw that these people jump into the space because they saw an opportunity. And if you're going to see all of the list of countries that jump into the space, in the play-to-earn space, you're going to see some of the world, the third world countries out there. Why? Because of the opportunities. Filipino loves opportunities. When they see an opportunity that's going to change their life, for sure, they're going to grab it, whatever it takes. But then again, it comes with the risk and responsibility. We saw how people adopt it, even the guards, even different, people, even managers, even our people who works in our company do Axie Infinity and invested their life savings on that game. And what is the biggest problem out there? The control of emotions and the risk involved. That's the biggest problem. If you don't control your emotions, you're gonna put everything, right? Even your Carabao, as they mentioned, they will sell it just for this opportunity. So Pitaka will serve not just a tool for them to understand what is blockchain. Pitaka will be a tool for us to get into this space responsibly with accountability on what is the risk involved on this ecosystem.
I'm totally with you on this. And lastly, Felix, you've been in the space since 2017. I'd love for you to identify some of the trends and buzz that you're seeing in the blockchain space, especially here in the Philippines. What other mega trends have you observed?
Well, the trends now during this consolidation time, as they call it, crypto winter, skills is very important. It's the survival of the fittest. If you're very skilled enough, you're gonna survive. And as I mentioned, Web3 is all about community. We need to collaborate, not to compete. We need to unify, have a vision and a mission wherein we work together as Filipinos. Sadly, there are few communities are seeing each other as competitors in the space. Just like the same industry where we work at, the wallet industry, some of communities see other communities as competitors. It makes us sad, actually. It makes us, we want to understand the core reason why. Yes, of course, still boils down that on the spotlight, and they want to be the forefront runner in this space. No issue with that, no problem with that. But if you are into Web3 and you're saying you are a Web3 advocate, you should be approachable, you should be interoperable, and you should be helping Web3 projects thrive and survive during this time. Because abnormal people jump into. Because imagine, people buy an NFT or digital art for $1 million, dollar or even 1,000 pesos. So I challenge everyone, if you're gonna jump into this space, of course it's inclusive. Of course you're gonna filter out, like you don't want to be associated with projects or rug pull or scam. Of course we know that, but we challenge everyone in the space to help one another to at least thrive and survive this space, especially during this crypto winter. So we've seen the cycle from 2017 until 2022. There are a lot of buzzwords coming out because during that time, 2017, you just buy crypto and hold it because that is a digital asset and an investment. You're just thinking long term. But right now, there's a lot of flips, NFTs, tokens. The next thing you know, they created another company and they do the same will over and over and over. And some people don't understand what's the real deal on this because they heard from their neighbor, right? But we want to advocate that this space is really risky, yet it's really fulfilling because this is technology. Technology will continue to evolve. During that time, there's no metaverse. Metaverse is just a buzzword that people talks about, but no one is executing the back end or infrastructure. Right now, we're seeing Web 2 companies, Facebook, Instagram, and other, the other Web 3 companies jump into the metaverse because they're seeing it as a tool for them to get more market in terms of the retail and consumers. So if there will be adoption, users and retailers go to the Web 3, Web 2 companies will be pushed to move there because that's the market already. That is the pool of people working on that. So we saw that in the history of Facebook and Friendster.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, when it's starting, there's only Pet Society and Farmville, right? People enjoy using it and then they get connected. That's the start of Facebook. Friendster didn't innovate on that specific part because they thought they were the biggest. Same thing what is happening now. These Web 2 and Web 3 companies making sure that they are years ahead over their competitors. But right now, Web 3 is not only read and write, but also owning your data. Owning the data you put in the cloud. But not all of the Web 3 companies love that because they want to create an algorithm that will benefit their companies as well. So that's what we're seeing in the trend.
Well, Felix, you're such an icon. Thank you so much for coming in on the show. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing your progress, and I wish you all the best of luck to your project.
All right. Thank you, Yanni, and let's build together.